Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pickleball and Politics, where I combine my quest to stay out of the kitchen with my passion for politics. So this week, I kind of wanted to go over the poll numbers again. We're getting really close to the Iowa caucuses. We're getting really close to the first in the nation primary in New Hampshire, and they're all coming. I mean, Christmas is right around the corner, and then we're into full-on political season. It will be 2024, an election year, and I have a feeling we're going to be on a roller coaster. We might have to take Dramamine, right? So we don't get sick. Okay, we're going to start in Iowa, and Trump's lead is actually widening in Iowa. Right now, Trump is at 51% of those being polled. DeSantis is at 19 and Haley is at 16. And what's interesting about that is Haley seems to have no momentum at all because she was 16 last poll. And DeSantis has gone up just a little bit to 19. Ramaswamy is at 5 and Chris Christie is at 3.7%. Now, what I think is interesting in these numbers also with Haley at 16% is she's threatening right now not to be in the next debate, which is a couple of days before the Iowa caucus. So I'm not sure what's really behind all of that, but that should be interesting to see how that all transpires. And so what do these numbers mean? It means that Donald Trump has over a 30-point lead over his nearest opponent in Iowa, and that would be Ron DeSantis, who has gained a little bit of momentum, but Ron DeSantis is in Iowa all day long. So if he can't poll a little bit higher, he's wasting his time. Now we're going to go to New Hampshire. In New Hampshire, President Trump remains at about 47%. Haley's at 19%, and Chris Christie, who's spending a lot of time in New Hampshire, is at 11%. DeSantis continues to drop in New Hampshire. He's also not spending a lot of time in New Hampshire. He's at 7%, the same as Ramaswamy. And Vivek is in New Hampshire a lot. I'm also going to have another little podcast about something that happened in the Vivek Ramaswamy campaign this week. I'm going to be talking about that after this, but I can't combine them all or it will go on and on and on forever. So in New Hampshire, Trump has a 27-point lead. So in Iowa, it's over 30. In New Hampshire, it's 27. And then we're going to talk about the national polls. And these poll numbers I pulled from Real Clear Politics, which is sort of a great site to go to because they take all of the different polls. They take the polls from Emerson and Quinnipiac and all of the other poll places, and they kind of average them all out. And they're all basically 1 or 2 points within each other. So these poll numbers may not be exact, but they are the average. Nationally, Trump right now is at 60%. DeSantis is at 12% with Haley at 12%. Chris Christie is polling at 3% and Ramaswamy is at 5%, just about the same as he is in Iowa. And nationally, Trump has a 47-point lead over his opponents. New Hampshire, it's 27. And in Iowa, it's more than 30. Barring any major manipulation by the judicial system and all sorts of, how do we put this? Barring the manipulation from the powers that be, Trump should be the nominee. He should be. But a lot can happen between now and July when we have the convention. And how all of this plays out should be very interesting. I happen to have my own opinions. And guess what? I told you I'm going to do another little podcast about Vivek. I'm going to do another little podcast about what I think might be brewing. And these aren't predictions I want. These are actually predictions I fear. Anyways, Trump, his train is not going to be derailed. Guess what? The Trump train won't be derailed in Iowa, left to us, the people. The Trump train won't be derailed in New Hampshire if left to us, the people. And left alone, we, the people, nationally, we will be voting for Donald Trump. We just will be. That's who us Republicans will be voting for. And I know people question who should drop, who shouldn't drop. What's going to happen is, depending on how they do in Iowa and how they do in New Jersey, their money's just going to dry up. And unless they have a big, big bankroll, like Nikki Haley has, because she's getting all sorts of big donor money from the Never Trumpers in the Republican Party, I don't see how a lot of them can last. And the first one gone should be Chris Christie. He's doesn't have a chance. He just doesn't. You know, I end every episode with the dink of the day, and that's who my dink of the day is. I named the dink of the day before I mentioned he was going to be the dink of the day. It's Chris Christie, dropout. I'm not quite sure where his numbers would go. I do not believe anybody voting for Chris Christie will vote for Donald Trump. I mean, maybe a few here or there would, but the Chris Christie voters especially, I mean, there's so few in Iowa and nationally, but in New Hampshire, they are polling at 11%. So that is a percentage, a small percent, but still a percent. And I don't believe any of them would vote for, well, not, okay, I can't say, I don't believe most of them will vote for Donald Trump, because the ones I talked to at the Chris Christie rally I went to, and if you haven't seen that video, you can go back and watch it. It's called, Is He Fit for Duty? And he's unfit for duty. Trust me. I'll save you. You can go watch it, but I'm telling you, he's not fit for duty in more than one way. But the people I talked to in New Hampshire, they under no circumstances at all want Donald Trump, who are at that Chris Christie rally. They're not interested in Trump. Several of the people I talked to there told me that they voted for Joe Biden 3 years ago. So I don't see them voting for Trump now. So anyways, you can subscribe. You can reach me at Instagram and on Getter at Pickleball and Politics. You can go to Twitter at Pickle and Paul. You can go to my website, pickleballandpolitics.com, or you can reach me on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Turn on your notifications, that little bell. I don't know. Where's the bell? Where's the bell? It's around here somewhere. Hit your bell, get a notification, subscribe. Please leave me a comment. I love your comments. My last video, I think you left me well over 40 comments, and I answered every single one, and I love interacting with you. So the dink of the day is Chris Christie. He needs to drop out. I'm not sure where his voters will go. I assume they will go to Nikki Haley, but he needs to drop out because we need to pare this down. We know who the nominee is going to be, and let's just concentrate on that, right? All right, until next time, I will see you again soon, because I got 2 more things I'm going to talk about. All right, I'll see you again soon on Pickleball and Politics.